millions of people around the world awaken to their talents simultaneously. Some awaken to an SS-tier talent known as Emperor's Eye, which can see through anything, while others awaken to an SSS-tier talent known as Time Travel that allows them to traverse through time. However, Lin Luo only awakens to an F-tier talent called Plunder. Anyone he defeats, he can plunder their talent level. A mysterious stone tablet descends upon Blue Planet, and its powerful energy completely destroys Country R. The 5 major powers of Blue Planet dispatch scientists to study the tablet. Meanwhile, in an inconspicuous company in Hang City, Zhang Wei is showing Lin Luo the girl he has just adopted. However, he finds that Lin Luo has no reaction and is just standing there with a dull expression, tears silently streaming from the corners of his eyes. Lin Luo is in a daze, thinking, why am I here? Shouldn't I be in that chaotic era? The last moment he remembers, he was fighting with tiger-level monsters to increase his talent level. Unexpectedly, there was a ghost-level monster in the group, lured there by an enemy. His brother died protecting him, and he himself was brutally killed by the enemy who had been stalking him. The root cause of all this turmoil was their refusal to hand over the spirit ascending crystal they possessed. In that chaotic era, being weak was a sin. Lin Luo soon snaps out of his memories, somewhat dazedly asking, what's today's date? Zhang Wei looks at him puzzled. Are you okay? It's November 12, 2025. Lin Luo is overjoyed upon learning the date. He has been reborn on the day of the awakening 3 years ago. Just then, a sharp, acrid voice sounds from behind him. Lin Luo, your performance is the worst in the team. You're fired. Go to the finance department to settle your pay. You don't need to come back this afternoon. Lin Luo looks at the person who seems like a clown and suddenly smiles. The company manager, Wang Jichao, is just as annoying as he was in his past life. In his previous life, this scumbag Wang Jichao turned into a demon after awakening his talent. Wang Jichao harvested the organs and lives of ordinary people in exchange for resources. Seeing Lin Luo not daring to retort, he continued to mutter, a bastard raised by a thief is worthy of Wen Yuxi's admiration. Lin Luo didn't pay him any attention and directly turned to leave. In his previous life, he got into a fight with the manager after being mocked, which led to his arrest and detention for 10 days. This caused him to miss the first and most crucial wave of opportunities in the era of global reclassification. By the time Lin Luo was released after awakening his talent, most people were already above level 10. He had been an orphan since childhood and was raised by a thief. But what people didn't know was that the brother who raised him, though a thief, was the light in his dark life. His brother was also an orphan and, being too young to find work, had to resort to theft to support Lin Luo. Although they were not related by blood, their bond was stronger than that of biological siblings. In his past life, his brother was sentenced to 15 years in prison for his crimes, only to be released early due to his awakening of an A-tier talent and making a significant contribution. Lin Luo became strong slowly with the help of his brother. Once, Lin Luo accidentally killed someone and joyfully found that his talent level directly rose to that of the person he killed. In other words, he could plunder other people's talents by killing them. But his brother, who had been through prison, warned him never to intentionally kill or they would sever their relationship. To Lin Luo, his brother naturally mattered more than gaining power. However, his brother's kindness didn't lead to a good end in that chaotic and dark era. They did not die at the hands of beasts or in dungeons, but rather at the hands of their own kind. Lin Luo quickly left the hardware store, carrying the tools he would use for his upcoming plunder. The look in his eyes grew colder and colder. If good deeds go unrewarded, then he might as well become a villain. Only by being worse than the villains can you completely bury those who harmed them and truly take control of your own destiny. Lin Luo returned to the office and hid in the men's restroom. The moment of global awakening, as he remembered, soon arrived. Lin Luo of Blue Planet, welcome to the new era. Blue Planet will, from this moment on, open various levels of dungeons and secret realms in various places. Upon awakening your talents, entering these places will awaken your combat professions. Congratulations, you have acquired F-tier talent, Plunder. Upon taking a life, you can plunder 1% of one of their attribute values or 1% of their talent effects. Being reborn before the start of the new era, he clearly knew all the famous dungeon clearing methods and the locations of opportunities in all the secret realms. Most importantly, he knew how to quickly elevate his talent to SSS tier. In this new life, he intended to completely reverse all the frustrations of his past life. Suddenly, the voice of manager Wang Jichao came from outside the restroom. Xiao Mei, I've awakened S-tier talent Healing Grasp. If you stick with me, you'll definitely have a good life. Lin Luo's face turned grim. He was hiding here precisely to wait for Wang Jichao. This would be the first target he would plunder. Lin Luo used a rope to violently strangle him from behind. The overwhelming sensation of suffocation and pain made the manager utterly terrified. Suddenly, a green figure leapt out of Wang Jichao's body, a special form called Substitute, which only those with S-tier talents could manifest. It immediately began to heal the injuries on Wang Jichao's neck. Unfortunately, the healing speed was clearly slower than the rate at which he was getting injured. His life force was still rapidly draining away. You have plundered the opponent's soul force. Your F-tier talent has evolved into D-tier. Your D-tier talent has evolved into C tier. Finally, Wang Jichao showed no signs of life. Lin Luo's talent soared directly from F tier to S tier. His plunder skill also grew into an S tier talent with significantly enhanced effects. Upon taking a life, you can choose to plunder one of the following: all attribute values, talent effects, skill effects, or soul force. The cooldown has also been reduced to 1 day. Once the talent reaches S tier, you can also manifest your own substitute. With a low shout, Lin Luo commanded, "Come forth, my substitute." A pitch-black figure quickly materialized before his eyes. This imposing figure was cloaked in menacing, sharp metallic armor with a large black cape fluttering in the wind behind him. This was Lin Luo's S-tier substitute, Dark Emperor. At the same time, an attribute panel appeared before his eyes. Lin Luo was thrilled to discover that Dark Emperor's strength, agility, and growth all reached a high value of 200. The 200-point mark is the limit that all attributes, aside from life value, can reach for an S-tier substitute. For SS tier, the limit is 400, and for SSS tier, it's 600. Dark Emperor actually had 3 attributes at their maximum limit. Even in the chaotic era to come, this substitute would be a top-tier entity. Lin Luo ordered Dark Emperor to dispose of manager Wang Jichao's body, then nonchalantly left the company restroom. He aimlessly wandered the streets. His usually quiet class group chat had become lively due to the global awakening event. "I've awakened an S-tier talent. Book of Wishes." A message from someone named Lu Ming popped up. Most in the group had only awakened F or D-tier talents, but this message caught Lin Luo's attention. Lin Luo remembered that during college, Lu Ming had been a sycophant. In his previous life, after awakening his talent, Lu Ming had quickly ended up with his college crush, Fang Mengchu. Later, he brutally murdered his former leaders and the inspectors who were pursuing him, eventually joining the dark organization known as Smiling Coffin. Killing such a person and plundering his talents would be a public service. Resolved, Lin Luo directly dialed Lu Ming's number. Meanwhile, in a hotel on the other end, a triumphant Lu Ming was examining his own substitute's attributes. Named Master of Wishes, this substitute had only one ability: to fulfill the host's wishes. A visibly excited Lu Ming made his first wish: "I want to completely win Fan Mingchu's body and soul." Upon hearing this, Master of Wishes immediately began flipping through a book he held. An indescribable, dazzling light flashed across the pages. "Master, your wish has been fulfilled," he said, his figure gradually fading away. Clearly, fulfilling that wish had drained all of Master of Wishes' energy. An impatient Lu Ming immediately texted Fan Mingchu, who had previously been indifferent to him but now referred to him as darling. He instantly asked Fan Mingchu to wear his favorite black stockings and come to see him. After receiving an affirmative reply, Lu Ming burst into excited shouts. He couldn't believe how the global awakening had turned him from an ugly duckling into a swan. Just then, Lin Luo's call came through. "Lu Ming, I've discovered a secret about S-tier talents. Where are you? I'd like to discuss this in person." Startled, Lu Ming wondered, "Have you also awakened an S-tier talent? I'm in a hotel. Come over." After hanging up, a sinister look crossed Lu Ming's face. "First, I'll get Lin Luo's secret, and then I'll properly enjoy my time with my goddess." 10 minutes later, Lin Luo walked into the room and casually closed the door, surveying the room. Growing impatient, Lu Ming said, "Didn't you mention a secret about S-tier talents? Well, go on. I have a date later." Leaning in close to his ear, Lin Luo mysteriously began, "The secret about S-tier talents is..." Suddenly, a black knight in armor materialized behind Lu Ming, punching him and sending him flying across the room. This punch from Dark Emperor had 20 times the strength of a regular human, immediately causing Lu Ming's facial features to cave in. By the time he landed on the floor, he had already lost all signs of life. "Your S-tier talent plunder has activated. Please choose one from the target's attribute values, talent effects, skill effects, or soul power to plunder," the prompt appeared. As Lu Ming was still an ordinary person who had not even entered any instances to gain a job class, his attribute values were negligible. He also lacked any skills. Soul power is used for leveling up one's own talents, but Lin Luo was already at an S-tier level. Plundering from one Lu Ming wouldn't be enough to raise it to SS tier. Considering the current situation, gaining another S-tier talent would be more beneficial for him. Successfully plunder the target's talent. "Congratulations, you've acquired the S-tier talent Book of Wishes." Book of Wishes can switch between 3 wishes: Heart's Desire, Battle Hardened. This increases your hit rate and critical hit rate by 20% and doubles experience gained from killing enemies. Heart's Desire, Iron Wall, increases dodge rate by 20% and nullifies one attack from any source every 10 minutes. Heart's Desire, Good Luck, increases your luck tenfold. Upon acquiring his second S-tier talent, Lin Luo felt a new surge of power emanate from within him. He softly muttered, "Come forth, Master of Wishes." A young man clad in a black robe, holding a massive book, appeared before him. The young man then respectfully bowed. "My great master, Master of Wishes heeds your summons. Any wish you have can be fulfilled by my Book of Wishes." Somewhat surprised, Lin Luo asked, "You can directly communicate with me?" "Yes, Master. I am a functional type substitute. I'm not adept at combat, but any wish you have can be fulfilled by my Book of Wishes. The simpler the wish, the less it drains me, the more complex collects, the more it drains. In theory, my Book of Wishes can grant any wish. Additionally, my intelligence far surpasses that of other substitutes, and I can assist you in devising strategies. Immediately, Lin Luo inquired, how can I use your abilities most efficiently? After pondering for a moment, Master of Wishes responded, I believe the most efficient use would be to ask for information. Information is immensely valuable, yet it drains me minimally. Lin Luo, being intelligent himself, quickly understood the rationale. For instance, if I ask you to directly give me a treasure hidden in a secret realm, that would consume a lot of your energy. However, if I merely ask you to tell me the location of that treasure, your consumption would be minimal. Master, you are truly intelligent, Master of Wishes complimented. Additionally, wishes with higher feasibility consume less energy. Creating something from nothing consumes more. For example, asking me for lottery numbers would consume less energy than asking me to conjure a bottle of water for you. Lin Luo thoughtfully nodded his head. He had roughly understood the capabilities of Master of Wishes. How much energy would it take to release my brother Zhou Xingdong from the Oversight Bureau? Upon hearing this, Master of Wishes began flipping through his Book of Wishes. Master, to fulfill this wish, I would exhaust all my energy and fall into a deep slumber. Lin Luo appeared to understand. It seems that wishes also have to be logical. The most suitable course of action now would be to gather intelligence on other S-tier individuals. At this point, Dark Emperor had returned after dealing with the body. Lin Luo noticed a clock with only one hand embedded in Dark Emperor's chest and quickly asked, does a substitute's appearance have something to do with its abilities? Yes, Master. A substitute's form is related to its abilities and the soul state of its host. Master of Wishes confirmed. Lin Luo's heart skipped a beat. The abilities of substitute Dark Emperor obviously had nothing to do with time. Could it be because of his reincarnation? He kept this thought at the back of his mind and left the room. His plunder talent had entered a one-day cooldown period. It was time to explore some dungeons and secret realms. As he walked, he encountered Fang Mengchu, who was wearing a short skirt and black stockings. She was muttering to herself, why did I send so many disgusting messages to this bootlicker? I should block him immediately. This is so nauseating. Lin Luo ignored her, heading to the hotel's front desk instead. He not only paid for a 7-day extension on Lu Ming's room, but also instructed the staff not to allow cleaning as his friend liked peace and quiet. Meanwhile, in a skyscraper in Hang City, a strikingly handsome young man was looking at his substitute, King of Time, with a frustrated expression. Where's the white clock on you? And why is the time point you traveled back to a week later than scheduled? Substitute King of Time, a little girl dressed in a blue and white dress, timidly replied, while time traveling, part of my power was stolen by an unknown entity. This caused the deviation in the time point. The young man angrily retorted, I paid such a huge price, and still, something went wrong. This young man, named Yu Taijia, awakened an SSS tier talent for time travel as soon as the era of universal awakening began. Relying on this talent, he ascended the ranks to become one of the guardian gods. Alone, he ventured into the cracks of time-space, where he encountered an opponent that made him lose all hope. Tribe without logic. In the end, he exerted all his strength to activate time travel, not hesitating to reduce the energy limit of the King of Time from 4000 to 40, just to escape and time travel back. Unfortunately, instead of going back to a week before the awakening, he arrived only a few hours after the awakening and even lost some of King of Time's power related to the second hand. Suddenly, King of Time closed her eyes and sensed something, then spoke with a hint of joy. Master, I can feel the power of the second hand. It seems to be with someone in Hang City. Yu Taijia asked in surprise, why would your power end up on someone else? After pondering for a moment, King of Time replied, it appears to have been forcibly taken by that individual. Yu Taijia looked serious. If he could take your power during time travel, he must be extraordinarily strong. Since you're not skilled in combat, let's not rush to find him. Let's focus on clearing some dungeons and reconnecting with our old teammates for now. We can settle the score with this thief later. Meanwhile, near a hotel at an intersection, an entrance to a dungeon measuring 10 meters in length and width slowly rotated. The government had issued an official notice warning people to exercise extreme caution when entering dungeons, advising teams of at least 5 people. Many curious bystanders had gathered around, some even taking pictures. Although everyone expressed strong interest in the dungeon, no one dared to be the first to enter. Just then, Lin Luo emerged from the crowd and walked toward the dungeon entrance, immediately causing a commotion among the spectators. With a familiar look at the dungeon, Lin Luo smiled. In my previous life, I was hesitant to enter this dungeon. In this life, I will conquer it. As soon as he entered the dungeon, a prompt sounded in Lin Luo's ears. Your body is being backed up as data. Any injuries you sustain in the dungeon will be fully healed upon exiting. If you die within the dungeon, you'll be resurrected and sent out. After 3 deaths, you will no longer be resurrected. Please choose one of the following 6 basic professions. In his previous life, Lin Luo had chosen the straightforward profession of a warrior. But now, with 2 S-tier talents and substitute, he naturally wanted to switch to a profession that suited him better. With that in mind, he summoned Master of Wishes and asked for recommendations on these professions. After a long contemplation, Master of Wishes recommended the the mage profession to Lin Luo. He explained that with a 95% probability, Lin Luo could advance to the hidden profession of prophet mage at level 20 if he used the S-tier talent Book of Wishes as a guide. Also, since Lin Luo had the protection of Dark Emperor, the mage's inherent weakness in close combat wouldn't be a concern. Intrigued, Lin Luo hadn't realized that an S-tier talent could lead to a hidden profession. After all, in his previous life, he was just an F-tier nobody. Lin Luo then asked, if I choose the mage profession and use the plunder talent as a guide for the second promotion, what hidden profession will I get? Master of Wishes promptly replied, I don't recommend using plunder as a guide. You'd end up as a hybrid melee mage, which would be awkward. Lin Luo wondered if it was his imagination or if Master of Wishes seemed a bit biased, always recommending himself. However, Lin Luo was clear that his core talent was plunder, and his actions should primarily align with Dark Emperor. Given that Dark Emperor's strengths lay in power and agility, the assassin profession would be a more suitable fit. After pondering for a moment, Lin Luo asked again, if I choose assassin as the basic profession and use the S-tier talent plunder for the second promotion, what profession will I become? A flicker of surprise crossed the eyes of Master of Wishes. You would likely become a rogue outlaw, maximizing the advantages of the plunder talent. However, I still recommend choosing prophet mage, as the profession is more elegant and easygoing. Hearing Master of Wishes' response, Lin Luo's resolve solidified. The next moment, he directly chose the assassin profession. You have successfully become an assassin. A tribute panel is now generated. As the prompt ended, Lin Luo's attributes began to change, and he acquired a large number of assassin-exclusive skills at the same time. Swinging his novice dagger, he thought, indeed, assassin and Dark Emperor are the perfect match. At this moment, another prompt sounded. Please select your dungeon exploration team. The maximum number of team members is 5. Without hesitation, Lin Luo chose to enter alone. Dark Emperor's combat ability was already equivalent to that of a level 20 to 30 elite player. There was no need for a team. The dungeon was named Goblin's Lair, difficulties ranging from easy, normal, hard to nightmare. Filled with confidence, Lin Luo chose the highest difficulty, nightmare. The next moment, he found himself in a dark forest, facing 50 red-eyed goblins holding clubs, ready to attack. Lin Luo summoned Dark Emperor and buffed him with Heart's Desire, 100 battles, immediately raising his critical hit rate by 20%. Dark Emperor calmly approached the incoming goblins and, at a speed indiscernible to the human eye, threw 50 consecutive punches. The goblins were instantly killed, turning into experience points for Lin Luo. He gained 2,250 experience points. Due to the overlevel monster kills and the effect of Heart's Desire, 100 battles, Lin Luo received a 700% experience boost for each kill, allowing him to instantly level up from level 1 to level 6. Every time Lin Luo levels up, he can get 4 free attribute points and 2 skill points. Reaching level 6 gives him a total of 20 attribute points and 10 skill points. Drawing from his experience in his past life, Lin Luo immediately chooses to allocate 16 points to agility and 4 points to strength. He puts all 10 skill points into agility-related quickness skills. His reasoning is simple. Quickness skills can reduce the consumption of stamina during movement and combat. Many people in his past life chose powerful attack skills like Shadow Hunt and Phantom Slash, only to find out that the stamina drain in dungeons was a major problem. Therefore, he knows it's best to invest in quickness skills. Lin Luo, leading Dark Emperor, makes it to the second stage of the dungeon. The monsters here are significantly higher level than before, but under the effects of Heart's Desire, 100 battles, Lin Luo still levels up to 7. They soon arrive at the final stage of the dungeon, where the Goblin Guardian, the boss, is waiting for them. Upon entering, Lin Luo sees a few goblins assaulting female human NPCs, which angers him. Dark Emperor seems to sense his host's emotions and becomes even more ferocious, instantly killing the strongest goblin next to the boss. As the lead goblin dies, all other goblins rush toward Lin Luo. Fortunately, Lin Luo is agile and dodges all attacks under the protection of Dark Emperor. Facing a swarm of goblins, Dark Emperor stands at the forefront. His attack power is overwhelming. Within 30 seconds, only the Goblin Guardian remains. Despite its intimidating roar, Dark Emperor is not deterred and defeats it with a single punch. Killing 83 goblins in the second half of the dungeon provides Lin Luo with 9,700 experience points, leveling him up to 9. The next second, hundreds of golden lights emerge from the goblins' corpses, forming an energy vortex. Lin Luo knows that the dungeon chest is about to spawn. He quickly switches Heart's Desire, 100 battles to Heart's Desire. Good luck, boosting his luck tenfold. A golden chest starts to form in front of him. You've successfully cleared the goblin's nest. Your dungeon score is 1,500 points. Congratulations on receiving a gold level epic chest. Lin Luo smiles contentedly. As he had predicted, damage and clearing time determine the basic score, while the number of players and levels can either increase or decrease the score. Based on different scores, the rating of the chest varies. Normally, even at the highest difficulty level of Nightmare, one could only get an iron chest from this low-level dungeon. However, under the effects of Heart's Desire, desire. Good luck. He jumps 8 tiers to receive an epic gold chest. The loot is extraordinarily good. Lin Luo is incredibly excited. He quickly opens the chest in front of him, and for a moment, the dazzling colors of various items blind him. The chest is full of high-level healing potions and countless pieces of equipment. What used to be coveted silver-level gear in his previous life now seems like trash. Among them, the best are 2 gold-level pieces that are suitable for an assassin. Indeed, a 10-fold increase in luck paid off. He carefully examines the attributes of a golden-level short blade, which not only offers 40 more attack points compared to bronze-level weapons of the same level, but also includes a bleeding effect. It's the perfect weapon for early-stage dungeon runs. He also picks up a golden-level light armor that not only increases the maximum health, but also reduces damage, another excellent piece. Just then, a notification sound rings out. Game character data backed up successfully. Please name your game character. The game name will be displayed during your dungeon and secret realm explorations. A smile creeps up on Lin Luo's lips. Let's call it Dark Emperor, he decides. Global announcement. Congratulations to player Dark Emperor for becoming the first person in the world to clear a nightmare-level dungeon solo. Reward, 1 10-pole ticket for the Wheel of Destiny. The world erupts in chatter. Everyone is discussing who this Dark Emperor is and what Wheel of Destiny means. Meanwhile, Yutaijia's face turns sour. The history he knew has changed. He distinctly remembers that in his previous life, the first nightmare-level dungeon was cleared by a player named Grey Wolf late at night on this day. He quickly turns to King of Time. Are you sure time travel won't alter history? King of Time replies earnestly, Master, time travel lets the soul go back to its previous body. It absolutely will not affect history. Yutaijia strokes his chin. Then there are 2 possibilities. First, this world's Dark Emperor has taken your power and grown stronger, and then cleared the dungeon. Second, the future Dark Emperor took your power and traveled back to the present, then cleared the dungeon. King of Time asks in confusion, but my power can't increase raw strength. How did he solo the dungeon? Yutaijia looks grim. Regardless, we have to find him quickly. If his growth outpaces ours, that could be a problem. On the other side, Lin Luo has no idea about the impact his solo dungeon clear has had. He excitedly looks at his lottery ticket and quickly summons the Master of Wishes, asking for the most cost-effective way to make a wish. Wheel of Destiny's drawing qualifications are very precious, usually available only for clearing nightmare-level dungeons or the Tower of Babel's secret realm. It has 9 grades of items from F to SSS, including many rare items that cannot be found in dungeons. There are life-extending elixirs, spirit-ascending crystals that can raise talent levels, and many other powerful and functional items. Different items also have varying probabilities. The chance to get the lowest F-level item is 40%, while the highest SSS level item is only 0.01%. So even if Lin Luo can increase his luck 10-fold through Heart's Desire, good luck, it's not guaranteed he'll get an S-level item or higher. Lin Luo asks again, what about using your ability to make a wish? Master of Wishes flips through the Book of Wishes and after a moment says, acquiring 1 SSS tier item will make me sleep for 6 months. An SS tier item consumes 190 points of energy, and an S tier item consumes 10 points of energy. Lin Luo falls into deep thought. Although each SSS level item holds terrifying power, the dormancy period will affect his ability to plunder talents from others. He still needs Master of Wishes to help him locate those he plans to plunder. Weighing the pros and cons, Lin Luo decides to go for an S-level item for now. Upon hearing this, Master of Wishes immediately flips through its book, releasing a burst of dazzling light. Master, your wish has been granted. Lin Luo promptly uses his 10-pole Wheel of Destiny lottery ticket. As the golden ticket dissolves into fragments of light, a giant ancient blue wheel appears before him. 10 needles in the center of the wheel start spinning wildly. Lin Luo doesn't bother to predict the outcome and yells, stop. The needles slow down and finally point in 10 different directions. Congratulations, you've won the following 10 items, the announcement says. Various colors intertwine, and to Lin Luo's surprise, he draws an SS level extreme crystal. Among them, bond crystals can increase a substitute's range of movement away from the host. Extreme crystals can increase a substitute's energy cap. Rage crystals can temporarily boost a substitute's abilities. The same type of crystal also has different grades. For instance, from this 10-pole, he got 2 reality crystals, 1 D level and 1 F level. Their effects allow him to carry back 3% and 1% of his attributes from the game to reality, respectively. Without hesitation, Lin Luo crushes the 2 reality crystals in his hand. Congratulations, after you exit the dungeon, you will inherit 4% of your in-game attributes, the announcement says. Lin Luo immediately has Dark Emperor crush 2 bond crystals, which now allows Dark Emperor to move freely within a 6-meter radius around him. A B-level Spirit Ascending Crystal helps Lin Luo improve his talent growth by 5 points. Finally, he's left with an A-level Energy Heart and an SS-level Extreme Crystal. The Energy Heart can improve a substitute's energy recovery speed, while the Extreme Crystal can increase a substitute's energy cap. Lin Luo holds the 2 crystals in front of Master of Wishes and muses, which substitute should I use these 2 crystals on? Master of Wishes seems to sense Lin Luo's hesitation and directly suggests, Great Master, I recommend you use these 2 crystals on me first. This way, it will increase the limit of your wishes, and if you continue to use the Wheel of Destiny in the future, you won't have to worry about energy issues. Lin Luo laughs at the suggestion, clearly pleased. That's exactly what I need right now. Alright, I'll give both crystals to you. He tosses the crystals over, and Master of Wishes immediately crushes them. After absorbing the crystals, the energy cap of Master of Wishes, an S-level substitute, breaks through to 300 points, and its energy recovery speed also doubles. Lin Luo pockets the remaining life extension pills and rage crystals and exits the dungeon. Unfortunately, without a space crystal, he can't take out the equipment he's wearing. The entrance to the dungeon is now crowded with people continuously entering. Lin Luo blends into the crowd and quickly leaves. He plans to head to the Tower of Babel, which exists in every city. He aims to once again seize a global first clear achievement. The Tower of Babel is about 100 meters tall and has a metallic blue hue. It takes him half an hour to arrive near the tower, where a crowd has already gathered. Just then, a beautiful woman walks up to invite Lin Luo to join her team. Although tempted, Lin Luo declines, thinking, women will only slow down my clearance speed. He squeezes through the crowd and quickly enters the tower alone. A group of gnoll-like creatures bearing their fangs rush towards him. Dark Emperor appears in a flash, and in less than 2 seconds, all the creatures are vanquished by a flurry of punches. You have cleared the first level of the Tower of Babel. Clear time, 20 seconds. First clear reward, 5 fragments of destiny. Congratulations, you've set a new world record for the first level of the Tower of Babel. Your game name, Dark Emperor, will be spread among global players. Lin Luo proceeds up the staircase to the second level of the Tower of Babel. The monsters are still gnolls, but are somewhat stronger, though they are all instantly killed by Dark Emperor. He quickly reaches the end of the second level. You've cleared the second level of the Tower of Babel. Clear time, 30 seconds. Lin Luo races through the successive layers of the tower like lightning. Meanwhile, outside the Tower of Babel, a frenzy erupts. The world is paying attention to the records of who's clearing how many layers of the Tower of Babel and in what time. People can't help but exclaim, this Dark Emperor is too incredible, isn't he? Lin Luo is unaware that he has once again caught the world's attention. At this moment, he is at the entrance of the Tower of Babel's 10th floor. Upon entering this level, one can only exit upon clearing it or dying. Lin Luo, fully aware of this, enters without any hesitation. In his previous life, the first player globally to clear the Tower of Babel's 10th floor was someone named Worthless Pig. Lin Luo decides not only to snatch the global first clear achievement for the 10th floor, but also to take the 20th floor achievement as well. Inside the 10th floor, there's a single gnoll covered in heavy armor, 4 times the size of a regular person. Upon seeing Lin Luo, the creature slowly stands up and charges at him, wielding a large cleaver. This gnoll boss is evidently much more formidable than the previous goblin guardians. Dark Emperor directly confronts him, while Lin Luo stays behind his substitute. The gnoll leader clearly senses Dark Emperor's threat and attacks him. Not bothering to defend, Dark Emperor goes toe-to-toe with the gnoll, who gradually becomes overwhelmed. Suddenly, the gnoll emits a pulse of energy, momentarily repelling Dark Emperor. Now enraged, the gnoll exudes red steam and his eyes turn red as well. It then splits its cleaver into 2 and lunges at Dark Emperor again. Dark Emperor, extremely agile, dodges the fatal strike and lands a punch on the gnoll's head, causing it to fall to the ground with a scream. Global announcement, congratulations, player Dark Emperor, for becoming the first to clear the 10th floor of the Tower of Babel. Reward, 110 draw Wheel of Destiny ticket. This global notice captures the attention of the entire world. After the announcement, a mysterious stele shows a warning. When the first player to undergo a second job advancement reaches level 20 on Blue Planet, mouse-level disasters will occur in various places around the world in reality. Countless scientists in a coalition of 5 major powers begin debating what mouse-level disasters mean. Could it be that dungeon and Tower of Babel creatures will appear in reality? They even start looking for this player named Dark Emperor. Meanwhile, Lin Luo is excitedly staring at the Wheel of Destiny in front of him. Once again, he makes a wish to Master of Wishes, hoping to draw something good. As the pointer comes to a halt, a notification sound rings in his ears. Congratulations, you've won the following 10 items. His luck isn't as good this time, receiving only 1 S-level item, Spatial Crystal. However, this already makes Lin Luo very satisfied. After all, the S-level Spatial Crystal allows him to take many items back to the real world. Lin Luo first crushes the D-level Reality Crystal, boosting the attributes he can bring back to the real world to 7%. He then gives all his C-level and B-level mana crystals, as well as the C-level Life Crystal, to Dark Emperor. The remaining crystals are ones he can't use for now. He still has 2 Wheel of Destiny draw tickets left, rewards from clearing nightmare-level dungeons and Tower of Babel. He plans to wait until he accumulates 10 to make it more worth his while. He also needs to accumulate more fragments of fate to exchange for items in the shop. Next, he plans to sell all the equipment he isn't using. After all, the sooner he sells them, the more valuable they are. In this game, in-game in-game currency can be exchanged for real-world money, with 1 copper coin worth around $5 to $6. Equipment is even more expensive. A single piece of black iron level equipment costs hundreds of gold coins. No sooner had Lin Luo listed those few items for sale than they were bought, netting him a total of 8,400 gold coins. Considering that 1 gold coin can be exchanged for $5 to $600, that's equivalent to around $5 million. He smacks his forehead in slight regret. I really underestimated how many wealthy people there are worldwide. He should have listed items one by one for a better price, but he doesn't regret it now. After all, grinding for equipment is now very easy for him. He plans to reach level 20 in the Tower of Babel tonight. By tomorrow, when he exits the tower, the cooldown for his plunder talent should be over. He can then acquire another S-level talent. He remembers that after the advent of the chaotic era, there were 3 infamous guilds: Smiling Coffin, Tomb of Nazareth, and 8-Headed Assembly. One of the 8 leaders of 8-Headed Assembly, Rainy Knight with a knife but no umbrella, whose real name is Bai Hong Wai, and the Bloody Witch and Wrath of the Glacier from Tomb of Nazareth, named Ji Weining and Lu Jianing respectively, are all S-level talent holders based in Hang City. They are Lin Luo's targets for plundering. After taking them down, Lin Luo plans to head to the City of Sin. The people who caused the deaths of him and his brother in his previous life were likely hired freelancers. Once he's taken care of these important matters, he plans to find out who's behind them. Meanwhile, in an office, Xing is posting job ads online. He's registered a legitimate company in Hang City called Brilliant Media. He'll hire people to work for a period and then take them on a team-building overseas trip that will actually end up in the City of Sin, where he plans to take them all down. The company has already hired more than 40 people, a few more and they can close the net. At this moment, Lin Luo has reached the 11th floor of the Tower of Babel, which is full of skeletal and undead-type monsters. In the Tower of Babel, only fragments of fate are acquired in the first 10 floors, but from the 10th floor onwards, you can directly get equipment. Lin Luo feels somewhat nostalgic about this place. In his previous life, he and his brother had spent a lot of time here grinding for a skeletal armor set. Putting aside his nostalgia, Lin Luo immediately issues an attack command. The brave Dark Emperor charges into the crowd of skeletons, obliterating many skeletal soldiers with his flurry of punches. At this moment, a level 17 skeleton commander quietly moves behind Lin Luo. Lin Luo smiles lightly, feeling underestimated. With a flourish of his short blade, he turns around and pierces through the core of the skeleton commander. A system prompt then rings out, announcing that he has cleared the 11th floor of the Tower of Babel in 1 minute and 35 seconds, earning him 85 fragments of fate as a first-time clear reward. With 3 years of combat experience from his past life, these lower-level monsters pose no threat to Lin Luo. 8 minutes later, he arrives at the 20th floor. The boss guarding this level is a level 20 skeleton lord named Tadamir. Drawing its great sword, Tadamir uses the skill Netherworld Summon. Awaken, my minions. Return from hell to fight for me. The next moment, countless skeletons of various levels crawl out from the ground. Lin Luo's eyes flash coldly. He knows that he can't rely solely on Dark Emperor for this level, as its difficulty far surpasses the previous 19 floors. At least 200 or more skeletal soldiers charge towards him, causing slight tremors in the cave floor. Dark Emperor takes the lead, smashing the charging skeletal cavalry into pieces with his punches. He then quickly engages the skeleton lord Tadamir in combat. The two are evenly matched. Meanwhile, hundreds of skeletal soldiers have bypassed the main battlefield to encircle Lin Luo. He adopts a combat stance. Though he has rich combat experience, the number of enemies is just too overwhelming. While he can eventually win, it would likely be a Pyrrhic victory. Left with no other choice, Lin Luo summons the Master of Wishes. With a roar, Lin Luo exclaims, "I wish for Dark Emperor's attacks to result in critical hits," until he has completely slain skeleton lord Tadamir. The Master of Wishes quickly flips through the Book of Wishes, its pages shimmering with dazzling light. Moments later, the respectful voice of Master of Wishes rings out, "Great Master, your wish has been granted." Dark Emperor suddenly feels a surge of frenzied energy coursing through his body. He roars and charges back at the skeleton lord. Meanwhile, Lin Luo takes advantage of his agility to weave through the skeletal soldiers. The ground suddenly trembles again. It's the skeleton lord unleashing his ultimate move, Shatter Greatsword. Unfortunately for him, the move is too slow and is easily dodged by Dark Emperor, who is airborne. What's more, after executing the ultimate move, the skeleton lord clearly enters a stagnant state. Although the time is short, it is a fatal weakness for him. Dark Emperor goes full throttle, pounding his fists mercilessly onto the helmet of the skeleton lord. Each punch deals a critical damage of 580 points. At that moment, damage numbers skyrocket. The skeleton lord is instantly killed by this concentrated attack. Lin Luo also successfully wipes out all the remaining skeletal soldiers. You have cleared the 20th floor of the Tower of Babel. Time taken, 3 minutes 11 seconds. First time clear reward, 100 fragments of fate. A global announcement is made. Congratulations to player Dark Emperor for becoming the first person globally immediately to clear the 20th floor of Tower of Babel alone. Reward: 110 Spin Wheel of Destiny ticket. Lin Luo decides not to use the reward ticket for now, but to lead Dark Emperor further into the tower. Relying on the memories and experience from his past life, he quickly clears up to the 29th floor. At this point, Lin Luo also reaches level 15. A system warning advises him that his level is too low and it would be best not to enter the 30th floor. Hearing the warning, Lin Luo lets out a cold laugh. He commands Dark Emperor to kick open the door. What appears before them is the Minotaur King, Minophilos. It looks disdainfully at the entering Lin Luo, saying, "Foolish human, do you know what you are about to face?" Lin Luo doesn't waste time talking to the Minotaur King. He immediately directs Dark Emperor to charge. Seeing this, the Minotaur King swings down his hammer fiercely. According to Lin Luo's memories from his past life, floors 21 to 29 cannot be rushed through, as the monsters that players avoided will be summoned by the Minotaur King as reinforcements. Of course, Lin Luo has already thought of countermeasures, so he dared to push forward quickly. The Minotaur King, realizing he can't hit Dark Emperor, uses his skill Earth Shatter, causing numerous cracks to appear on the ground. Lin Luo, sensing the timing is right, calls forth the Master of Wishes and again wishes for Dark Emperor's attacks to always critically strike. After using his skill, the Minotaur King falls into a brief state of weakness. Dark Emperor seizes the opportunity to unleash a furious assault, each rapid punch dealing 450 critical damage. The Minotaur King's health quickly depletes. Seeing he's losing, the Minotaur King uses his ultimate skill, King's Command, calling out, "My warriors, heed my command, come protect your king." A glint appears in Lin Luo's eyes. He knows the time is right. He activates a skill that Dark Emperor has never used before, Seize by Force. System prompts indicate that Dark Emperor successfully steals the skill Earth Shatter, 1,200 health points, the skill King's Command, and 23 agility points from the Minotaur King. With the system's prompt, the Minotaur King falls unwillingly, and the stolen power pours into Lin Luo, directly leveling him up 3 times to reach level 18. Just then, the Minotaur warriors summoned by the Minotaur King also arrive at the 30th floor. Lin Luo sees this and immediately uses the King's Command skill. He wants to test how useful this stolen skill really is. All the Minotaurs suddenly start trembling and their eyes turn dull. The next moment, they kneel before Lin Luo. Meanwhile, in a dungeon outside Hang City, a young man reveals a huge golden eye behind him, the SS tier talent Emperor's Eye. With a light command, both the boss, Mushroom King, and his teammates obediently kneel before him. Just then, Utaijia walks up from behind and says, as expected of the SS tier talent Emperor's Eye, "I've heard a lot about you, Mr. Hui Tailang." The young man's face changes. "Who are you? Why aren't you affected by my Emperor's Eye?" Utaijia smiles faintly. "I'm Utaijia, a person who exists outside of time." Hui Tailang remains cautious. "Why are you looking for me?" Utaijia grabs his wrist. "Because I need your help. You're the only one who can make monsters kneel." Meanwhile, inside the Tower of Babel, countless Minotaurs respectfully kneel before Lin Luo, shouting, "Great King." Dark Emperor uses the recently acquired skill Earth Shatter, instantly killing all the Minotaurs. The massive experience points gained level Lin Luo up to level 22. Congratulations to player Dark Emperor for being the first solo player to clear the 30th floor of the Tower of Babel. Amidst everyone's astonishment, Lin Luo quickly pushes through the crowd and leaves the Tower of Babel. Having leveled up to 20, he's now eligible for his second-class advancement. Exhausted from the day, Lin Luo arrives at a noodle shop. Clearing 30 floors has drained him, and he needs a full meal before going for the assassin second-class advancement mission. Just then, a commotion catches his attention. It's his former colleagues, led by Zhang Wei, who used to be close with him superficially. The girl kneeling on the ground, begging, is in turn Qin Kellen. Ignoring her pleas, Zhang Wei kicks her to the ground. Listening to their conversation, Lin Luo learns that one of the colleagues died in the Tower of Babel due to Qin Kellen's mistake. But as the only healer in the team, she won't be abandoned so easily, though her situation is obviously dire. Lin Luo has no intention of intervening. In his past life, this girl, like others, mocked him. Relationships have changed now that circumstances have altered. Qin Kellen is dragged back like a toy to continue healing the team. Zhang Wei and others are discussing plans for the Tower of Babel's second floor. Suddenly, Zhang Wei spots Lin Luo and quickly grabs a dish to walk over. Placing the dish on Lin Luo's table, he embraces Lin Luo and feigns warmth. "Old colleague, where have you been since you got fired? I missed you. What talent have you awakened? Let me help you make big money. Otherwise, how can you be worthy of when you see?" Lin Luo gazes at Zhang Wei coldly. In his past life, when he was released from detention, Zhang Wei was the first to approach him with the same questions. Without much thought then, he had revealed his talent, only for Zhang Wei to turn around and humiliate him along with others. Recalling this, Lin Luo stands up to leave, stating that he doesn't team up. Hearing this, Zhang Wei bursts into laughter. "Do you, a poor kid, think you're some big shot like Dark Emperor?" Just then, Qin Kellen quickly runs over and clings to Lin Luo's leg, pleading for him to take her away, saying she would agree to any conditions. Her face flushed, she grabs Lin Luo's hand passionately. "Brother Luo, please take me away." Lin Luo, visibly disgusted, shakes her off. Find someone else. I can't help you. Zhang Wei, furious, approaches Qin Kellen. You slut, flirting with whoever you see. Ha, does Lin Luo even have the power to save you? He grabs her hair and violently pulls, eliciting screams from her. Two others join in the mockery. What makes her think Lin Luo has such high talents? I think I'm even better. Those two brothers are just petty thieves under the Wen family's charity. Zhang Wei continues to torment the girl, smirking. Had I known the Wen family had a soft spot for thieves, I'd have gone there to steal something too, maybe even spark some romance with Wen Yusi. Hearing this, Lin Luo's expression darkens. I'd advise you not to mention that name. Zhang Wei taunts. What name? You delusional frog, wanting to eat swan meat? Lin Luo clenches his fists, struggling to control his anger. However, Zhang Wei has no plans to let him off easily and signals two people from their small team to teach Lin Luo a lesson, telling him about the rule of the fist. The two, menacingly smirking, ready their attributes carried over from the dungeon. This is perfect for testing our skills. They charge towards Lin Luo, fists swinging, loudly yelling, kneel and call us dad if you don't want to die. Lin Luo, watching the incoming fists, has no intention of dodging. Their speed is too slow for him. Effortlessly raising his arms, he sends them flying. Having lived two lives, he understands far better than they do what the rule of the fist means. Zhang Wei didn't expect his two comrades to be so useless, defeated with just a single blow. Furious, he draws a dagger and lunges at Lin Luo. Lin Luo counters with a devastating kick, sending him flying. The two who had just picked themselves up look at the flying Zhang Wei, their eyes filling with fear. They exchange a glance, as if making a decision. The next moment, they kneel in front of Lin Luo. Master Luo, please accept our loyalty. Do you have a spot in your team? Lin Luo coldly responds. I told you already, I don't team up. The two kowtow and beg again. A young man on the second floor of the noodle shop is observing him. The man is one of his plunder targets, one of the 8 leaders of the 8-headed assembly by Hanwei. Lin Luo ignores everyone and plans to leave. Qin Kellen watches him admiringly. This is the man I can rely on. She grabs Lin Luo's hand, apologizes loudly for past insults, and promises to make it up to him tenfold, even rubbing his hand against her smooth face. Annoyed, Lin Luo pulls his hand back and leaves without hesitation. Qin Kellen stares at Lin Luo's retreating figure, vowing to make him pay double for today's humiliation. The two kneeling men mock her. Who do you think you can seduce? Luo's heart is set on Wen Yusi, so save it. Qin Kellen drops the act and screams. How am I inferior to Wen Yusi? You aren't even fit to carry her shoes. Suddenly, they sense energy emanating from her. Weaklings, Lin Luo is gone, and you have no protection, they say, trying to stand. But they find themselves weakened and trembling, having been harshly beaten and kneeling for so long. Seeing this, Qin Kellen seizes the opportunity. Everything you gave me before, I'll give it all back now. She slaps them until they're unrecognizable. Bai Hongwei finds the girl downstairs interesting and orders his subordinates to recruit her into the 8-headed assembly. The guild had been lamenting the lack of female players, and maybe they could gather some intel on Lin Luo from her. Qin Kellen stands satisfied, stepping on the two men. Sooner or later, I'll also step on Lin Luo. Just then, 8-headed assembly Xiao Gang quietly appears behind her. Miss, have you heard of our 8-headed assembly? Would you like to join? Knowing their reputation, she doesn't hesitate and signs an agreement, mocking Lin Luo for his lack of judgment. Who's this Lin Luo you mentioned? Xiao Gang asks, seizing the opportunity. A resentful Qin Kellen says, that's the guy who just left. He was a former colleague and deceived me emotionally. Xiao Gang subtly pulls her closer. Does he have any weaknesses? Maybe I can help you get revenge later. Filled with hatred, she reveals, his weakness is a woman named Wen Yusi. On the other side, Lin Luo walks leisurely on his way to the Class Advancement Guild. Not far behind him, a scout from the 8-headed assembly is reporting his every move. Although Lin Luo has long sensed the scout, he refrains from exposing him, unsure of his affiliation. At this moment, the voice on the other end of the spy's phone tells the spy that Lin Luo has a weak spot named Wen Yusi. The voice instructs the spy to confirm Lin Luo's movements first and then investigate this woman. After saying this, the spy immediately follows closely behind Lin Luo. Suddenly, to his astonishment, Lin Luo turns around and heads in his direction. Lin Luo wants to find out who's behind the stalking. The scout's anxiety peaks as he tries to maintain his composure, passing Lin Luo and hastily leaving. But then a towering figure blocks his path. Dark Emperor punches the scout, sending him flying. Lin Luo's face turns sinister. Speak, who sent you? The scout tries to explain. I'm just a passerby. You must have mistaken me for someone else. Why would you attack me without reason? Lin Luo grabs his ear and closely inspects an earring. Ah, so you're from the 8-headed assembly. This immediately puts Lin Luo on high alert. According to the timeline from his past life, the 8-headed assembly shouldn't appear in front of him this early. Lin Luo grabs the scout's face again. I'll give you another chance. Speak your purpose. Seeing the scout still playing dumb, Lin Luo realizes that more extreme measures are needed. The 8-headed assembly scouts are known for their resilience under questioning, and continuing the interrogation would be a waste of time. He summons the Master of Wishes, wishing for the scout to reveal his intentions. The scout's eyes go vacant, and he begins to speak. My name is Sun Lang. I am a loyal subordinate to Bai Hongwei, one of the leaders of the 8-headed assembly. We recruited a beautiful woman at the noodle shop. She gave us information about a strong individual named Lin Luo. I was ordered to track Lin Luo and also to investigate a woman named Wenyusi. This Wenyusi is Lin Luo's weak point. Our leader plans to use her to threaten Lin Luo into becoming a loyal subordinate of the eight-headed assembly. A cold glint appears in Lin Luo's eyes. He never expected that the eight-headed assembly would have recruited Qin Kellen and that this woman would be so ruthless. In the third year of the disaster in his previous life, when Yusi had been killed by Bai Honglai. In order to avenge her, Lin Luo had risked his life in various adventures to enhance his skills, only to be schemed against and die at the hands of monsters. Now, it seems he must eliminate Bai Honglai before the eight-headed assembly locates Wenyusi. But first, he needs to complete his second job transfer, which will give him the confidence to kill Bai Honglai. After having Dark Emperor dispose of the scout's body, Lin Luo summons Master of Wishes. He wonders how long he can guarantee Wenyusi's safety if he makes such a wish. The Master of Wishes respectfully responds, "Master, with my current capabilities, I can ensure her safety for 24 hours at most." Lin Luo considers for a moment. 24 hours should be enough for him to complete his second job transfer. He then makes the wish and heads toward the Assassin's Guild. Relying on his memories from his previous life, Lin Luo quickly locates the guild, a massive silver prism. Upon his arrival, he rushes in. A change in lighting and scenery later, he finds himself in a European-styled room. An elegant middle-aged man is delicately sipping tea. "Ah, a traveler from afar. Are you here to seek higher-level secrets?" Lin Luo knows that this is Desmond, the second-class advancement instructor, and respectfully responds, "Yes, instructor, please guide me." With a wave of Desmond's hand, the door behind Lin Luo bursts open, letting in the howling winds and snow. "Go to the snowy forest and kill 30 black snowmen and 1 penguin king. Bring me their identifying features, the snowman's horns, and the penguin king's beak." Lin Luo steps out through the wooden door into an icy tundra. The chill is intense, likely to affect combat. Suddenly, he hears a noise behind him. Turning, he finds a huge black snowman who seemingly appeared out of nowhere. A massive fist comes crashing down toward him. Dark Emperor, hiding nearby, leaps out to intercept the blow. Lin Luo didn't expect that the monsters in this second-class advancement secret realm would resort to ambushes. He notices a blue crystal horn on top of the black snowman's head, which must be the quest item. He orders Dark Emperor to go all out and eliminates the black snowman with a single punch. The snowman's body gradually melts, leaving only the horn stuck in the snow. Lin Luo picks up the quest item, but then the ground around him starts to tremble. From the distance comes the sound of heavy running. Soon, he's surrounded by a multitude of giant black snowmen. Lin Luo is not panicked. Instead, he draws a short blade. He knows that the real battle has just begun. The black snowmen are not fast movers. Focusing their attacks, Lin Luo and Dark Emperor quickly dispatch them. The black snowmen can't withstand the combined assault and are instantly killed, turning into horns. The second black snowman charges in with a roar, but before it can react, both its arms are severed by the combined efforts of Lin Luo and Dark Emperor. Lin Luo, with the aid of Dark Emperor, leaps high into the air and cleaves it in half. He then activates his skill, Earth Shatter, causing the ground to break apart and stunning the other black snowmen. Lin Luo shouts, instructing Dark Emperor to quickly finish them off. Dark Emperor rushes into the crowd of snowmen with a dance of fury, punching holes through their bodies. The stunned black snowmen offer no resistance and quickly fall one by one to Dark Emperor's fists. By now, Lin Luo has collected 37 horns, more than enough for his class advancement task. However, he notices that the number of black snowmen seems to be endlessly increasing, which strikes him as very odd. Unseen by him, a small penguin wearing a golden crown is leisurely sipping red wine. It is the one directing the black snowmen to continuously attack Lin Luo. With a soft command from the Penguin King, spirits fly out of the snowman corpses. When Lin Luo tries to catch them, they slip through his fingers like water and quickly fly toward the mountain top. All the spirits gather in the hands of the Penguin King, only to return along their original path. Confused, Lin Luo watches as the spirits re-enter the snowman corpses, and the previously defeated black snowmen roar back to life. Realizing why there seem to be endless waves of them, Lin Luo skillfully evades their attacks and leads Dark Emperor quickly toward the mountain top. Sensing the impending danger, the Penguin King uses its special skill, King's Call. The surrounding black snowmen suddenly become frenzied, speeding up their pursuit of Lin Luo. Dark Emperor picks up Lin Luo and speeds up toward the mountain top, then throws him forward. Lin Luo raises his short blade and splits the Penguin King in half, acquiring the last quest item, the Penguin King's beak. With the death of the Penguin King, all the black snowmen begin to melt away. Braving the snowstorm, Lin Luo returns to the wooden hut. Seeing him return, Desmond's face immediately shows an expression of admiration. "Young man, your strength has earned my recognition. I can sense a huge potential within you. The 3 standard second-tier assassin classes I have to offer might not be the limit of your potential. Are you willing to seek your own path?" Lin Luo realizes that this is probably the hidden class Master of Wishes had mentioned. He immediately says he's very willing to pursue it. Desmond stands up, his eyes serious as he explains that beyond the standard second-tier classes. There are countless hidden ones. However, the risk of failure in transitioning to these classes could be life-threatening. Lin Luo knows that the second-class advancement is extremely crucial, and he's willing to take any risk. Seeing Lin Luo's determination, Desmond bursts into laughter, increasingly admiring the young man. He begins to wave his hands, saying that since Lin Luo is prepared to push his limits, he will guide his spirit into the void. The class to which he advances will depend on his own choice. He warns him not to linger in the void for too long out of greed for power, or he will be lost forever. Suddenly, a mysterious force enters Lin Luo's mind, taking his consciousness into an unknown void where he loses all senses for a long time. Gradually, his vision restores, and he sees an endless void. Suddenly, a red pillar of light appears in front of him, followed by several other pillars of different colors. When he extends his hand into the red pillar, information pops up. Job: Lawless Outlaw. Exclusive skills: Lawlessness, Light, and Shadow Interplay. This is the hidden job Master of Wishes had recommended. Then, he puts his hand into a blue pillar. Job: Shadowman. Exclusive skills: Shadow Clone, Shadow Stitching, and Shadow Curse. The attributes and skills of the Shadowman job are significantly better than those of the Lawless Outlaw. Realizing that the colors of the pillars indicate the quality of the jobs, Lin Luo turns his attention to a golden pillar. Inserting his hand, a massive window appears. Legendary job: Storm Swordsman. Exclusive skills: Sonic Sword Breath, Gale Blade, and Infinite Sword Energy. Lin Luo is shocked. This level of job is exceedingly rare. He hadn't even heard of legendary jobs in his past life. If he could transition to this, dealing with an evil organization like the Eight-Headed Assembly would be easy. Suddenly, Lin Luo has a thought. Why did Master of Wishes conceal this job from me? He immediately summons Master of Wishes, asking sharply why he was deceived. Master of Wishes quickly explains that he wouldn't dare to deceive him. Choosing the Lawless Outlaw was the safest decision based on his comprehensive assessment. The data shows that Lin Luo's plunder talent only has a 1% compatibility rate with the Storm Swordsman, and the success rate for the job transition is even lower, at 0.5%. Hearing this, Lin Luo calms down, acknowledging that the success rate is indeed too low. Master of Wishes continues, saying that the Shadowman job has a talent compatibility of 22% and a success rate of 9%, which, although much higher than Storm Swordsman, is still highly risky. Curious, Lin Luo asks for the data on the Lawless Outlaw. Master of Wishes shows him the data: a talent compatibility of 89% and a staggering job transition success rate of 98%. Seeing this, Lin Luo realizes he misunderstood Master of Wishes. Your assessment was correct for the safest choice, but who says I want to make the safest choice? Since I'm here, I'm going for the highest reward. Master of Wishes is left speechless, not knowing how to respond. Lin Luo pats him on the shoulder. From now on, just inform me of the pros and cons of each choice. Don't make decisions for me, understand? He then turns towards the golden pillar. Before stepping in, he asks Master of Wishes one more question. If the talent compatibility is only 1%, does that mean that, if successful, I would have 100% of this job's power? Master of Wishes confirms, yes, if you succeed, you'll have 100% of its power. But if you fail, the best case scenario is you'll suffer from mental fatigue for 20 days. Worst case, you could lose your life. Lin Luo's expression turns cold. 20 days of mental fatigue is essentially the same as being dead to me. I'd fall so far behind others, and most importantly, I won't be able to save Sister One within 24 hours. He smiles confidently. Master of Wishes, you might be smart, but did you forget yourself when calculating success rates? I wish for a successful transition to Storm Swordsman. With that, he steps into the golden pillar. The Book of Wishes in Master of Wishes' hands starts flipping pages. Moments later, he says respectfully, Honorable Master, your wish has been granted. Instantly, countless pieces of information about the Storm Swordsman flood into Lin Luo's mind. At this moment, Desmond watches Lin Luo intently. The Storm Swordsman is an ancient, legendary job that's been lost for years. Even the most potent SSS-level talent might not successfully transition. This will be interesting, he muses. Lin Luo is now in the process of inheriting the legendary job of Storm Swordsman, his mind filling up like a tidal wave with all the information related to it. To inherit the ancient legacy of Storm Swordsman, one must come infinitely close to understanding the essence of the storm. Loyal to the wind, loyal to the sword. Death always accompanies me, yet I fear it not. Control the sword with the heart and listen to the whisper of the wind. The wind is the sword, and the sword is the wind. The more the storm sword strikes, the more intense it becomes. Only by facing death can one be invincible. This is the only true warrior among assassins, the Storm Swordsman. In the beginning, with the help of Master of Wishes, Lin Luo does his best to absorb the information. However, as time passes in the void, Master of Wishes' energy is depleted, and his form gradually fades away. He needs to enter a sleep state to slowly recover. Lin Luo is now on his own to accept the legacy. Unavoidably, his spirit weakens, and he collapses in the void, losing consciousness. The job transition to Storm Swordsman is still underway. Desmond watches Lin Luo intently. Storm Swordsman is a job of legends. I've never seen anyone succeed in this transition in my lifetime. Suddenly, Lin Luo's body slumps to the ground, eyes closed and face scrunched. This is a sign of failure in the job transition. Desmond mutters. He might be lost in the void forever. He shakes his head. Young people are always too ambitious. I hope failing this time teaches you a lesson. Usually, only those with SSS level talent can successfully transition to a legendary job. For someone with S-level talent like you, even getting a hidden job would have been an excellent achievement. Just then, a global announcement rings out. The world's first secondary job transition has occurred. Desmond smirks. What a shame. If you hadn't been so greedy and chosen a simpler job, you could have been the first. Now, someone else has beaten you to it. Lin Luo wakes up in a familiar wooden cabin and hears Desmond's words. Struggling to his feet, his eyes shine with excitement. How do you know that the world's first isn't me? A surprised Desmond asks incredulously. What do you mean? Did you actually succeed? Lin Luo remains weak, but chugs down a high-level stamina recovery potion. His condition improves significantly, recovering about 80% of his stamina and spirit. Desmond is speechless. This is unbelievable. How did you do it? Can you share your talent with me? I promise to keep it a secret. Lin Luo doesn't answer. Instead, he asks curiously, aren't you feeling hot, instructor? Desmond notices the dropped cigarette has ignited the carpet and the fire has reached his crotch. With a yelp, he jumps up to extinguish the fire. Lin Luo takes this opportunity to leave the cabin. He has much to do and no time to waste. Once out of the Assassin's League, he realizes it's already night. His job transition took a full 5 hours. He checks his phone and sees 4 unread messages from Chin Kellen, inviting him to lunch tomorrow at a specific restaurant, using the rescue as a pretext. Lin Luo knows too well it's not out of kindness. It must be a trap set by the 8-headed assembly. However, he's also on the hunt for Bai Honglai. An opportunity like this, coming right to his door, is one he won't refuse. At this moment, Bai Honglai is discussing the meaning of life with Chin Kellen. Suddenly, the ring of a phone interrupts their intimate conversation. After reading the message, Bai Honglai becomes extraordinarily excited. He didn't expect that Lin Luo would actually agree. Although the time and location were changed, for him, these are not major issues. Ignoring the disapproving look from Chin Kellen, he quickly gets dressed and plans to head to the agreed-upon location. Chin Kellen's resentment towards Lin Luo deepens, always spoiling her plans. What no one knows is, at the moment the announcement of the first second-tier job transfer rang out globally, a new message appeared on the mysterious stone tablet. When Blue Planet's first second-tier job holder emerges, a mouse-level disaster will occur 24 hours later in the real world. Scientists responsible for the stone tablet on Blue Planet all change color and immediately send this message to the desks of the high authorities in the 5 major countries. Everyone is guessing what this mouse-level disaster actually is. After intense discussions, an announcement is released by the 5 major powers on Blue Planet. Everyone is to cease all outdoor activities 24 hours later. A global curfew is enforced, and everyone should stay at home awaiting further notice. At this time, Lin Luo, who is waiting by the sea for Bai Honglai, is unaware that his job transfer has caused such a huge impact. He also receives the official announcement. Of course, he knows why the curfew is enforced, but in his memory, the first global mouse-level disaster should occur 5 days later. Why has it advanced so much this time? The first wave of mouse-level disaster in his previous life was an interdimensional insect disaster. The levels of the monsters ranged mostly from 1 to 20. This insect disaster was an opportunity for the awakened, because killing insects grants 4 times the experience points. Several large guilds rose to prominence after this insect disaster. However, for ordinary people and those with low talent levels, this insect disaster was lethal, lasting a full 15 days. From then on, social order collapsed, and the world entered an era of chaos. In my previous life, I couldn't protect those who had protected me. I was always a burden to them. This life, I finally have the ability to protect them. I had a very confused childhood. Every time I was bullied, it was Sister One who stood up for me. She truly taught me a lot. My brother did indeed steal from my own family, but after they found out our circumstances, they not only held no grudges but also continually cared for my growth. Mr. and Mrs. One have always treated me like their son. Every important moment in my life has Sister One's figure. Those were the happiest times of my life. But when Sister One needed protection the most, I was not there by her side. The chief culprit for all this is Bai Honglai. In this life, I will kill you first. In a speeding car, Bai Honglai and 2 others are on their way to the agreed location. Suddenly, his phone rings. After glancing at the caller ID, his pupils slightly constrict. He cautiously answers the call. Immediately, the stern voice of an elder comes through the phone. Gong Tens, recently, the chosen ones among you should meet. Report your talents to Lord Gong Ben. Bai Honglai responds respectfully. It turns out that Bai Honglia's original name is Gong Tens. His family has been the secret guards of our country's royal family for generations. When our country was destroyed a year ago, he was escorting Princess Jiazi of our country to an event abroad. Thus, he narrowly escaped. Afterwards, he followed the surviving members of the royal family to take refuge with our country's business group in H country. A large number of our country people in H country, under the Organization of Royal Survivors, formed the Restoration Organization 8-headed assembly. Now that everyone is awakening, multiple S-level talents or higher have emerged in 8-headed assembly. Even the big shot in 8-headed assembly, Gong Ben, has awakened a rare SSS level talent. This has made 8-headed assembly start to become restless. At this moment, Baihonglia's hand is shaking as he takes the phone call, because the elder of the clan informed him that Princess Jia Zi and Lord Gong Ben's engagement ceremony will be held next month. They were asked to gather as much spirit ascending crystal as possible for the celebration. Baihongli grips his phone tightly. Princess Jia Zi has always been the woman he considers his own, but now she's getting engaged to Gong Ben, who is an SSS level talent awakener. He stands no chance against him. The only solution is to elevate his own talent to SSS level before next month's engagement. This will require a lot of spirit ascending crystals. To him, people with some ability like Lin Luo are perfect crystal miners. Thinking this, he immediately orders Qin Kellen to bring more people tomorrow to monitor Wen Yusi around the clock. As long as he controls Wen Yusi, regardless of whether Lin Luo is willing tonight, he has to work for him. Then Baihonglai continues, I won't show up later. You'll know what to say when you meet that Lin Luo. I don't need to teach you. You're a smart girl. Bring out your best skills. Upon arriving at the agreed-upon beach, Qin Kellen sees Lin Luo lounging on the sand. She is extremely confident in her beauty. Even the hall master has fallen for her. She doesn't believe she can't handle a Lin Luo. Pretending to be cheerful, Qin Kellen runs over and leaps towards Lin Luo. Lin Luo quickly moves backward with a stern face, dodging her dive. Annoyed, Qin Kellen says, Brother Luo, you hurt me. Lin Luo has no time for her act and coldly asks, where is Baihonglai? Qin Kellen is shocked inside. How does he know the hall master's name? She then plays dumb and says, Brother Luo, what are you talking about? It's me who invited you here today. Lin Luo's eyes turn cold and he says, Baihonglai, the hall master of your 8-headed assembly. Dodging his gaze, Qin Kellen responds, I did join the 8-headed assembly, but I haven't met the hall master. I've only heard his name. Seeing the situation, Lin Luo stops wasting time with her, snatches her phone, and starts looking for Baihonglia's number. Qin Kellen hastily follows him and continues to explain, I really haven't met any Baihonglai, but the reason I invited you here is indeed to invite you to join 8-headed assembly. It's a good backing. If you join, all the resources, connections, money, and even myself will be yours. You can have anything you want. Baihonglai, who has been waiting for a message, sees Qin Kellen calling and hurriedly asks, how's the situation progressing? It's been so long without any news. Lin Luo, on the other end of the phone, lets out a cold laugh. She can never give you any news again, because I've killed her. Baihonglai feels a tightening in his chest. Are you Lin Luo? Come out. Baihonglai, I know you're nearby. Baihonglai looks at his disconnected phone in surprise. How does Lin Luo know about my existence? Did Qin Kellen betray me? Qin Kellen sees Lin Luo throw her phone into the sea and timidly says, so you knew all along. A moment later, Baihonglai also arrives at the beach. You are indeed a talent that I, Baihonglai, value. You are exceptional. Join my 8-headed assembly. Let me take you to accomplish great things. Lin Luo snorts coldly. Great things? Are you referring to your restoration plan? Gong tens. Baihonglai feels like he's been struck by lightning. How do you know? Who are you? Lin Luo slowly draws his short blade. Every one of you deserves to die. Dark Emperor's figure appears directly behind him and launches a fist at Baihonglai. The punch is indescribably fast, even displacing the air with a violent howl. Suddenly, a large black umbrella shields Baihonglai. Dark Emperor's explosive fist rains down like a storm on the umbrella. It turns out that Baihonglai finally reacted in the nick of time. He summoned his substitute, Lady Kagaya, to block all the attacks for him. Lady Kagaya is a young girl dressed as a maid and wearing a demon mask, carrying a large black umbrella. Although she blocked Dark Emperor's first wave of attacks, his offense was too fierce. Baihonglai could clearly feel Lady Kagaya's energy rapidly depleting. He urgently tells Lady Kagaya to quickly retreat and not take the blows. Following his command, Lady Kagaya's figure flashes as she quickly moves backward. Dark Emperor closely follows, relentlessly launching attacks from all angles. At this moment, Lin Luo is very surprised. The opponent's substitute can actually keep up with Dark Emperor's speed, and her defense is incredibly high. Could this seemingly delicate girl be a defensive type substitute? Baihonglai looks gloomily at Lin Luo. You can't even break my substitute's defense, and you want to kill me? Lin Luo's voice shows no emotion. My Dark Emperor might not be able to break your defense, but that doesn't mean I can't kill you. If the host dies, even the most formidable substitute is meaningless. Lin Luo knows he can't hide his power anymore. He must take down his opponent as quickly as possible. Baihonglai also feels very urgent at this moment. Though Lady Kagaya is not injured, her energy is continuously decreasing. If he switches to another form, the chances of defeating his opponent are still high. Both parties know this battle must be settled quickly. Baihonglai immediately orders, Lady Kagaya, switch to Rainy Night, blade form, kill him and his substitute. Lady Kagaya's umbrella suddenly folds and transforms into a long blade, slicing towards Dark Emperor like light and electricity. At the same time, Lin Luo makes a wish to the Master of Wishes. Dark Emperor's next punch will surely hit. The host cannot dodge. Dark Emperor quickly meets Lady Kagaya's strike without any intention of dodging, clearly planning to to take the blow just to get past Lady Kagaya and simultaneously aim a punch at Bai Hongwei. Bai Hongwei's pupils shrink to pinpoints, alarms are going off in his head. He didn't expect the target to be himself. In that instant, Bai Hongwei makes a bold decision. Lady Kagaya, kill Lin Luo directly. Upon receiving the command, Lady Kagaya's slender figure instantly moves past Dark Emperor and swiftly approaches Lin Luo. Time seems to slow down in this moment. Both Lady Kagaya and Dark Emperor ignore each other and attack each other's hosts. Dark Emperor's punch lands squarely on Bai Hongwei's face, sending him flying through the air before tumbling several times on the ground to a halt. At the same time, Lady Kagaya fiercely swings her blade at Lin Luo. Struggling to his feet, Bai Hongwei sneers. How could a fist possibly outdo a long blade? Goodbye, Lin Luo. However, the next moment, Lin Luo's figure vanishes right before Lady Kagaya's eyes. The agile Lady Kagaya, comparable to Dark Emperor, shockingly swings at empty air. Bai Hongwei's face changes. How is this possible? How could an ordinary person have this kind of reaction and speed? Lin Luo's figure slowly appears behind him. Having advanced to the legendary profession of storm swordsman, Lin Luo is far stronger than Bai Hongwei had imagined, even without the help of a substitute. A cruel smile forms at the corner of Lin Luo's mouth. I'll admit, you're a bit different. Quick reactions, strong substitute abilities. But sadly, in this world, the strong live and the weak die. Dark Emperor flashes in front of Bai Hongwei and punches him into the ground. Looking at the lifeless Bai Hongwei, Lin Luo feels a sense of relief in his heart. The revenge for Sister Wen in his past life is finally avenged. He directly activates his S-rank talent, Plunder, targeting Bai Hongwei's body. Your S-rank talent, Plunder, has been activated. Please choose one from the target's attribute value, talent effect, skill effect, or soul force to plunder. Lin Luo thinks for a moment. None of my current talents are particularly strong. What I need most now are more S-rank or above talents. The cost-benefit ratio for the other choices is too low. So, Lin Luo decides to plunder the target's talent effect. Congratulations, you have acquired the S-rank talent, Rainy Night. During rainy weather, you can shield all detection under the umbrella. At night, you can directly manipulate the weather to create a small rain area. In Rainy Night, Lady Kagaya's attack speed increases by 20%. A beautiful young woman in a maid outfit appears beside him, carrying a black umbrella on her shoulder. Her delicate face carries a respectful expression, and her short skirt reveals a pair of straight, slender legs. Her appearance is clearly different from the Lady Kagaya summoned by Bai Hongwei. Even the facial features are subtly different. Then he opens her attribute panel and starts to study it carefully. Lady Kagaya has two forms. Rainy Night, umbrella form, with a 400-point boost in defense. Excess damage will only drain energy. Blocking 100 points of damage will consume 1 energy point. Rainy Night, blade form, each attack inflicts 200 points of true damage and consumes 2 energy points per second. In Rainy Night, energy consumption in blade form is reduced by 50%. Lin Luo understands now. The core of the S-rank talent, Rainy Night, is this young woman named Lady Kagaya. On its own, Rainy Night is quite weak, aside from its detection shielding effect. However, when paired with Lady Kagaya, it becomes strong. In defensive mode, not even Dark Emperor with a 20% crit bonus from Heart's Desire, 100 battles can break her defense. In attack mode, her attacks not only deal true damage, but also greatly surpass Dark Emperor's attack speed under Rainy Night. In terms of combat capabilities, Lady Kagaya is clearly stronger than Dark Emperor. Furthermore, her active range is 20 meters, and her intelligence reaches 30. She can fight autonomously, unlike Dark Emperor whose intelligence is only 1 and must be operated by him. However, Dark Emperor isn't purely a combat substitute. His true strength lies in his ability, seize by force. Lin Luo smiles and says, looking forward to working with you in the future. Lady Kagaya bows respectfully. Don't worry, master. I will protect you. At this moment, a mist rises from Bai Hongwei's body. Lin Luo remembers that killing someone has a certain chance of dropping items. The mist slowly condenses, turning into a single Wheel of Destiny draw ticket. This allows Lin Luo to complete 2 10 draw chances. He immediately summons Master of Wishes, planning to wish for an increased chance of drawing S-rank items. However, he can't find Master of Wishes anywhere. He then remembers that during his class change, Master of Wishes consumed too much energy, and just a bit that was restored was used up when killing Bai Hongwei. He recalls that in the center of Martial Arts Square there's a secret realm called Sacred Forest where one can find rare items for energy recovery. It seems like it's time to make a trip there. Lady Kagaya, who shares Lin Luo's intentions, immediately asks, Master, shall we go to the secret realm now? Lin Luo smiles. No, I have a more important place to go to. Meanwhile, Princess Jiazi of Country tries to call Bai Hongwei, but no one answers. In her memory, she's never failed to reach Bai Hongwei's phone. She suddenly has a bad feeling. At that moment, her maid informs her that it's time to meet with Lord Gongben, as arranged by the elders. Jiazi feels extremely hesitant. She can't believe that the elders want to force her to marry Gongben from the 8-headed assembly for the sake of restoring their country. She somewhat regrets seeking refuge with the clan elders after fleeing here. The year she and Bai Hongwei were in Country H wish was the happiest year of her life. Back then, there were no Gong Tens and Princess Jiazi, just Bai Honglai and Xia Jing. She wishes Bai Honglai could take her away from here to live a quiet life in a small city with no more ties to country R. She doesn't want to get involved in these matters anymore. But now, she can't get through to Bai Honglia's phone. Bai Honglai, where are you now?